Howdy, my name is William.
And I'm Mason.
And we are On Topic,
the podcast where we talk about interesting things with interesting people.
Today we will be discussing Christmas.
Yay, Christmas and New Year's as well. I should clarify.
Yeah, we're trying to shoot a bunch of content so we have a buffer so that we don't have to leave you all again when we fall ill or under the weight of personal obligations. And so, as such, we're just shuffling through. We're going to do a holiday episode. You get a cheesy... Oh, I should look at the camera when I do that. You get a cheesy Christmas special. The On Topic Christmas special.
Yeah. And we're actually recording this on New Year's Eve as well. So everything is very, very topical right now. And we'll try and get this out as quick as we can as well.
No, we won't.
We'll see. We'll try and be good about it. But
do you want to release this before Love?
I don't know. Probably not. We should do Love first, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
So then this will be out 2 weeks after the week of the 12th.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
That's not too delayed. That's fine. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit more of a relaxed episode.
Yeah.
Especially compared to the last...
Unwind after last time.
Yeah, last time it did get a little bit intense, a little bit heated at the end, but...
If you want to see us raise our voices, go watch it.
Yes,
it's a rare opportunity.
Yeah.
Love.
I feel like I have to apologize a little bit for that, but...
Me too.
But, it was gonna happen anyway, so yeah.
Ironic for it to have occurred on the Love podcast.
I know. Yeah, what would seemingly be a really wholesome podcast turned into a little bit of a heated argument at the very end.
It did.
But yeah.
We're fine. We're
on topic.
We resolved it.
Yeah, so we're all good now. Now we're going to talk about Christmas.
Yeah. So well, let's start off in standard philosophical form and get an operational definition going. What is Christmas?
I mean, the way I would view it is just a set of traditions that you celebrate on a certain day of the year.
What is the set? What constitutes Christmas? In order for something to be Christmas, what must there be?
Well, I think I feel like you can do a very little for Christmas and still be celebrating Christmas.
Okay,
right?
But what is the thing that you're celebrating?
For example, people can celebrate Christmas without a tree.
Sure.
It's a little bit taboo to do that, right? Like it's very, it's very like culturally assumed that you're gonna get a tree for Christmas.
I mean, the Christmas tree thing comes from like a pagan German tradition, so
people don't know that. But yeah, there's like certain. It's basically like I mean, holidays are essentially just date-related rituals that you do.
Sure.
Yeah. So classic. Christmas lights and putting up the tree and stuff like that. So you have all these things that you do leading up to a day. And I think what constitutes Christmas is just the conglomeration of all those things that you end up doing.
So in order to have Christmas, you need to have both the day and also some set of traditional activities related to the day.
If you're truly celebrating Christmas, yes. But, Christmas outside of that, I think, still exists, even if you don't celebrate
Christmas itself is just the day.
Christmas itself, I think, is the day and all of the associated traditions. But if you, Christmas still exists, even if you don't celebrate it, which I know sounds stupid, but I feel like it needs to be said. But yeah, so yeah, the day itself is your entry ticket, But then what you do once you're in Christmas is all of the ritualistic traditions.
Right, and so that constitutes whether or not you celebrate Christmas, but not whether or not you have Christmas.
Yes. Yeah. I would say everybody experiences Christmas, at least in the Western world.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to, ignore. You walk through your local mall and there's a giant Christmas tree up and lights and stuff like that.
So what do you say about Catholics? Because Christmas is, I believe, in early January on the liturgical calendar.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would differentiate the two Christmases then, I would say. Between the Catholic Christmas and
I would assume
standard
that
Christmas.
In Catholic households you would celebrate Christmas on the liturgical day that it's set, as opposed to the random date in December that we've chosen.
Yes, but I'm guessing Catholics would also have their own spin on certain Christmas practices as well. So I think it's differentiated. Right. I would kind of want to separate the two.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that works. I think I would categorically separate the two. I wouldn't consider it the same Christmas by any means.
Sure.
There's crossover. Historically, that makes sense why there's crossover, but yeah, I would say that it's not. I wouldn't say it's the exact same holiday. And also, there's a very, I don't know. I feel like Catholics there aren't that many Catholics in the U.S. at least.
No, there are a lot. They're growing, compared to Protestantism, Catholicism, and
but like gross
Orthodoxy
number
are growing
of
wildly.
But like the gross number of Catholics is probably pales in comparison to, I guess you would say Protestants and other, denominations of non-Catholic Christians.
That's probably true, but less so than you would think, I think.
Maybe.
It's also kind of unfair because Catholics are like a thing and then Protestants are like 12 things.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And also, a lot of atheists and celebrate Christmas as well. I'm atheist and I celebrate Christmas just because it's fun,
Sure.
So I think it's, I would say that the just the gross number of people celebrating each of those two distinctions of Christmas is pretty stark. I feel like it could be pretty easy.
There is a question also of where you want to draw the line between those two things, right? Because like there are people who still celebrate it on the day in December instead of the time on the liturgical calendar. Because Protestants don't have a liturgical calendar, or at least not that one. Mm-hmm. Depending, I guess Episcopalians do, I think, maybe. But anyway. Right, but then lots of the people who still celebrate it on our secularized Christmas day do a more religiously oriented celebration of it, right? They'll celebrate by like going to a candlelight service and going to like to masses. Well, not masses, that's Catholics. To services and doing that stuff. They'll do something that's been going around this year that I've been seeing a lot of is instead of doing like a Santa Christmas thing, they'll do like a shepherd's dinner, where it's a similar deal, but it's just recognizing the, historical root of the tradition with the wise men going and bringing the gifts instead of, and sort of playing a shepherd-like role of watching and rejoicing and whatever, as opposed to the magical deity who spies on you in your slumber.
Right.
Brings you good or bad things according to the quality of your conduct.
That's such a funny way to describe Santa. The magical deity that watches you when you sleep. Fair enough. But I still think I would still say that the way that
sorry.
The way that atheists celebrate Christmas and the way that, like, for example, you would celebrate Christmas are way more similar than the way that you would celebrate it compared to a Catholic.
I mean, I think
I think the date matters like a lot.
Interesting.
For that, yeah.
Okay.
Personally, that's what I believe. But I mean, of course, you can speak about the historicity of the Christmas tradition, and maybe I'll be convinced otherwise.
I actually don't know a ton about this. If we had decided this sooner going into the podcast than when we got here to the studio, I would have done a little bit more research on that. There is some grounding, like Santa Claus, like Saint Nicholas is a real person.
Right.
Famously punched Arius the heretic in the face at an ecumenical council.
I see.
And got kicked out of Rome for it, I believe.
He sounds like a lovely guy.
After having been kicked out of Rome and then being invited back and to participate in the ecumenical council, and then punched Arius at it. Yeah, character.
Okay.
And he was a very charitable dude, and I do think he did give gifts around Christmas, and I think that is a root of the tradition. So there's not Christian grounds even in this sort of secularized view of it, but I think that got melded with some more pagan-y traditions from other cultures to get from nice guy who gives people stuff and punches heretics
Mm.
to, again, magical sleep deity.
Right, yeah.
And-
Fair enough.
But yeah, so in terms of the date, I don't know. I think that the church suspects I think that the actual historical date of Jesus' birth is supposed to be in early January sometime. I think that's why it's that on the ecumenical calendar.
Mm-hmm.
On the liturgical calendar. Wrong word. But they didn't want to leave it there because it was like too close to other stuff and they thought it would get overshadowed, so they moved it to when it is now instead.
Gotcha. I also know,
but don't quote me on that.
I've seen that there is some correlation with the winter solstice in deciding the date of Christmas as well. It's actually a view that atheists always proposed regarding Christmas and whatnot. They're like, because like there's questions on whether or not the accuracy of the birth of Jesus Christ is actually accurate or not, and there's a lot of debate with that, and a lot of people say it was just there was already a pagan celebration of the winter solstice being celebrated, so over time it just kind of melded with that
right
into becoming the 21st or the 25th of December. Some of that might be misconstrued. I don't remember exactly when the winter solstice was this year. It might be 3 days off, which would work in well with with Christianity as well. So
that makes total sense, and I think that's a reasonable take to have, because clearly there is pagan influence again with the deification of the of the sleep man and with the trees and the light, some form of light god worshipping from Germany with the trees. I think, again, don't quote me on any of this, but I did not do research going into this podcast. This is just what I vaguely remember. Seeing around.
Where did the whole reindeer thing come from? Were there reindeer in Germany? I don't think so. It'd have to be way further north.
No, the Santa thing I think is from a separate thing.
That might be from Russian influence.
We got the trees from Germany.
I bet you reindeer is from Russian influence.
Why?
Just because I know where reindeer are in the world, and I know Russia has had an influence on Christianity.
Yes. Totally.
So my guess is that that's where it'd be from, over like something like Scandinavia, or even like the Americas in that regard. I don't even know if there are reindeer in the Americas. I think there are. I don't know. Again, these are questions we can figure out at a later date.
These are the great metaphysical questions. We may never know.
Where are the reindeer? Anyway, so I actually have a question.
Okay.
Will you be telling your kids about Santa? Will you keep the Santa ruse afloat?
I've been thinking about this.
Because I will
this year,
just because it's fun.
Well, you're an atheist. You have no reason not to.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but other than being deceitful.
Sure, that's right. I mean, you atheists don't really care about it.
Wow.
I kid.
Oh man, whoops. Yeah, I think I will. Just 'cause, again, it'll be fun, and even if it does feel deceitful, and I do feel like it's kind of, I don't want to make, there's like some amount of emotional turmoil that people feel with that type of stuff as kids,
sure.
but I think it's worth it to keep the magic alive. So
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my experience of the Santa tradition. I mean, there are a lot of things like that that I kind of liked in my childhood, but I just think it would be better or safer to not leave in my kids' childhood. Like I don't think I want to send my kids to public school, and we can get into that another time.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy my time at public school. It just I feel like I got very lucky in a dice roll that I don't really want to throw for my children.
Fair enough.
And so with the Santa Claus thing, it get like I think probably not. I think I'm not going to do that. And part of the reason is just the deceit and the lying. Like, me, man, my whole ethical framework is built around truth. I don't believe in the concept of a moral lie. And so, lying to your children, particularly about something like that too, because then I get this reel all the time that's like, I'm not telling my children to believe in Santa because I need them to believe me on Jesus. And it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough, because we've got the way that we've deified Santa Claus again,
Yeah, sorry, keep going.
it's like fair enough when a child finds out that they've been disillusioned by you telling them to believe in this magical figure who gauges the quality of your behavior and then rewards you or punishes you accordingly. Like there are definite parallels to that in what you would be then telling them to believe in regard to Christ or God the Father or whatever. And yeah, I don't. So yeah, I'm not really interested in lying to my children, period. I'm particularly not interested in lying to them in a way that would lead them to be prone to dismiss other important truths that are also unknowable. Not also, that are unknowable.
We don't know. Santa could still be out there.
Is he real? The real questions.
Little do you know, I still believe in him, you know? Like, I've never been told otherwise.
This will be a really important podcast then.
We'll debate the existence of Santa Claus.
That would be hysterical. I would love to watch someone try to argue for his existence.
But there were presents under the tree. Where could they have come from? That'd be so funny. That'd be such a funny alternate like spoof episode that we could do. That'd be hilarious.
That would be a blast.
Anyway, do you think that's had any like genuine impact on like how whether or not people have carried on being Christian beyond their childhood, whether or not they were told about Santa or not?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it'll be the end all be all or whatever. But
well, of course, I think there's bigger things out there. But do you think there's do you think
right,
that
but
I
would totally believe that it could make a contribution to that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Fly.
It's a plug.
We're cutting this out.
I don't think I am. This is funny.
Sorry, I just got for the audio listeners. I just got attacked by a fruit fly.
You're demoing the new camera.
Yes, true. That's another thing. We got a new camera. I don't know if you've noticed, but yeah, it looks significantly better.
It really does. I'm very happy with the way that I.
Anyway, I'm trying to remember what questions I wrote down. I will have to refer to my book. Unfortunately, my little brown book,
man.
not red book.
Bold of you to assume it's open note.
Yeah, we could speak about why Christmas feels so different as an adult than it does as a child. Which
so there are a couple foundational things to hit before then, I think. Which is the first thing is, what is the purpose of Christmas? What is it for? Why Christmas?
I think the main appeal for me now as an adult is just getting people together, like your family coming together and celebrating this one thing. Like it's an excuse to get everybody together. For some people that causes problems. For me, it's great. Everything's great in this neighborhood.
Glad to hear it.
So yeah, I think it's generally just a fun thing to participate in. But beyond that, it's also like a time to come together and give gifts and, enjoy other people's presents and whatnot. Double entendre. Enjoy people's presents.
That was
good. But more so, I mean, I enjoy giving presents more than getting presents, but that might just be a me thing.
No, I definitely feel that way too.
Okay.
I was just talking to my uncle about that, and he said the same thing too. Yeah,
I think we're good people.
It may be a male thing because we're just so intrinsically providers.
I know at least that's not resounding. The resounding opinion that it's only a male thing. Yeah. Because I know
I speak
plenty
in
of people that love. Yeah.
I speak in averages in that regard, of course.
I think that's probably not it. It might be like a small bit of why,
right.
But I don't think it's significant, at least. But yeah. Anyway, what's your purpose for Christmas?
Well, so I've been going around on this a lot lately, actually, because I was I was raised Christian, but like with an asterisk.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were saying accent for some reason. I don't know why. raised Christmas with an accent. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I was raised Christmas with an accent.
With an
accent.
Asterisk.
With an asterisk. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so I do think I grew up aligned more or impassioned more with or whatever the pagan Christian or the secular Christian tradition than the Sorry, I got really distracted. My uncle got me these socks. They're cashmere. They're
very soft.
It's unbelievable, dude. It's like being nestled. It's like having my feet like nestled in the soft underbelly of a hibernating animal.
Wow. All right.
Dude, it's seriously unbelievable.
Cashmere it's from Cashmere, specifically Mongolian, is it not? It's like a Mongolian sheep that they get true cashmere from, I think. Huh. I don't remember. I've looked into it. I keep getting advertised on Mongolian cashmere sweaters.
All right.
Anyway, so you're raised in a more secular version of Christianity.
Yes, right. So so that always resonated with me a lot more, and it was much more what I cared about and oriented myself around. And so I was always a very Christmassy person. Mm-hmm. People tend to associate with one holiday or another more so. Like there are like Halloween people, and
like I'm sure Easter probably
Christmassy people more. And yeah. Like this year, I think I may be more excited for Easter than I am for Christmas actually.
That's interesting.
But yeah, well, and so I was a very Christmassy person growing up, but in the secular regard, and so I had that sense of magic and nostalgia and excitement and whatever, all of those things, but they were all built around that secular foundation, the gathering with people, the things that you're talking about, the family stuff, the materialist stuff, the nostalgic stuff, all those things. And so then
take issue with the materialist thing, but I'll let you keep going.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's right. And so then when I really came around and like really came to faith, then two things changed that made that much less impactful. The first one being that now really my faith and my relationship to the divine and the things that directly honor the divine is like the thing that matters to me, and everything else is, I was going to say superlative. I have no idea if that's the right word or not. Secondary. I don't know what that means.
Secondary or tertiary or something like that.
And everything else falls beneath that. And so that, I don't know, all of those things that felt like really, really important and really meaningful because they like made me feel good or they were cathartic or whatever, just like don't matter to me that much anymore. They pale in comparison to my connection with Christ and the divine. So that's the first way that's the first thing that changed. Well, and also just, I mean, the disillusionment that comes with age, where you like learn that Santa's not real and whatever. Spoilers.
Right, but okay, yeah, well,
and the second thing that changed is that as you get closer with the divine, as you go further into faith and you build that connection and whatever, you start to see that feeling of connection and depth and light and nostalgia and excitement and all those things that like just came around at Christmas time. Like I think that's another reason I really liked Christmas time, was that it's sort of more traditional than other times. Like people listen to jazz and dress nicely and wear cool coats, and the movies are all about like conventional romance, and it's just like it's a time where people kind of go back in time a little bit. And I really appreciated that traditionalism also as a kid even.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm deeper into faith, it's like all of those things that I really liked about Christmas when I celebrated it from a secular perspective, I have all those things all the time now. That excitement about life, that traditionalism, that family connection feeling, all the stuff is like just an ambient thing for me now. And so the Christmas, I feel like maybe as you get closer to Christ, Christmas in the way that we think of it.
It's fruit flies.
Bug.
Yeah, it's really going after you.
Christmas in the way that we think of it kind of loses. As you get closer to Christ, you get further from modern Christmas. You get more disconnected, I think, perhaps.
Gotcha. But like, for example, if you're just ambiently taking in Christmas traditions or whatever, like hanging up lights and stuff like that. Like that still has to feel nice, does it not? To
I don't know.
feel that for example, just like walking around downtown or something, and there's a giant Christmas tree and there's lights and people are like playing Christmas music and stuff like that. Like it just, even if I think I kind of predicted or like had the assumption that it would be an additional thing. It wouldn't be like, oh well, I don't feel the classic nostalgic feeling for Christmas because of not because of how much greater your relationship with the divine is, but in like it's kind of like an additional thing that just makes you even feel better during that season,
Yeah.
as opposed to replacing it. It's just additional.
And that was kind of what I was expecting also. But that really has not been my experience. I've really dove like into the faith comparatively this year from last year. And it's just, I don't know. I did not get Christmassy this year at all. Part of it could also be that I wasn't in a relationship around Christmas time this year. And it's become a very it's a very family oriented thing and a very romantic thing. And so it's possible that not having that outlet also made me less receptive to the Christmas stuff. But I really did not get Christmassy at all. Like I helped get and set up the trees and whatever, and I had some hot chocolate and went and saw the lights and did the events and stuff. And it's like, it's like nice, it's pleasant, but I don't think I find it any nicer to do it at this time than I would like if we did that in the middle of January.
Right, but I think
January is not what I meant. I meant June, summer month. I don't do time.
I think part of that is like, but if you had that up all year round, I don't think it would be as enjoyable as it is. So I feel like it needs to have a specific time of the year for those traditions to take place, for those traditions to even be special in the first place.
Sure. It's just like, I guess what it is that like, you think of Christmas as this like big monumental thing. We're not allowed to, because it's not represented in scripture, we Reformed people aren't allowed to like regard it as an actual holy day, like how the Catholics have it on their liturgical calendar. Like you can come together and celebrate and whatever, but it's not an actual holy day. It's not a time for actual specific worship or reverence or whatever. Because it's not represented in scripture. Regulative principle of worship.
Gotcha.
And so with that in mind, and it doubly so when the actual birth is supposedly closer to somewhere in early January, it's like the actual occasion is just so arbitrary, and it's not a day of special religious significance. It's like just a time when we like do things that are like good and pleasant and wholesome. And it's like, I'm all for the good, pleasant, wholesome, I think, but I think we should do that all the time. That like beauty is just good. We should just be beauty maxing. Family stuff is just good. We should just be family maxing.
I mean, fair enough. But surely to some Christians, which you might even deny them as being Christians in the first place, but surely to some Christians that day is very religiously significant.
Sure, I mean, again, Catholics have it
besides Catholic,
day.
like even Protestants, I feel like.
Oh, sure. I don't know.
Like the classic, instead of a star, you have Jesus on the top of your Christmas tree or something like that. Like there's definitely some significance.
I think they put an angel on
the top. Yeah, but I've seen people put crosses on the top of their Christmas tree.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would believe that that's a thing people do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like there's anything abjectly wrong with blending Christian imagery into it. I think that, and even like regarding the day as a time where you celebrate the birth of Christ is like fun. Like it's good to celebrate that as a thing. And that's, that's what I was like, all of this exuberance and whatever is to celebrate that occasion. It's just a very arbitrary way of going about it. I
Gotcha.
think. And so, I don't know. I mean, I think Christians who like really, really get attached to the day or to the thing in some religious capacity
they're misguided.
I mean, I don't know if I would go that far, but I think that they're kind of closer to where I was before really, really diving deep into my faith. Yeah.
Okay.
You talk about non-Christian things now. I don't want to pigeonhole you into faith talk.
No, it's
again.
good. I mean, What was the guiding question I asked you about that? I think I
Oh,
no.
this
So
was
it was the significance of the holiday. Like, what's the purpose of Christmas?
That
I think
was,
is where
yeah,
it
that was
spawned
my
from.
guiding
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I already answered
You
that.
did.
but I mean, it does admittedly seem strange as an atheist to celebrate something that is rooted in Christianity.
I've always wondered about that. Do you have any like feelings about that? I mean, you talk about it being an excuse to get together and do other stuff and whatever, but it is kind of religious at its root, at least, even if it's become pagan generally speaking.
Yeah, but I think you can disconnect the religion almost entirely from the holiday itself, and it can still function completely independently. It's one of those things, it's like, so just in US culture, just in the United States culture that you know proliferates or whatever, we have certain Christian roots that you just can't really deny. We're built by a lot of this country was built by a lot of Christians, you know. So
Reformed in particular, Lutherans and Presbyterians did a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yep, and Catholics on the East Coast, I think in like Massachusetts or something like that. I think they're French Catholics or something like that. I don't remember.
You should say that because I just spoke French.
No, genuinely,
I don't know.
I wish I remembered. Anyway, I took a whole class on this.
Continue.
Yeah, so I feel like this is just another one of those things that just has seeped into what it kind of is conflated with just American culture now. You have a Christian tradition that you know, because of how many Christians just exist in the United States, it just becomes part of the American tradition to do so. Which I feel like would make Christians, I don't know if that would make Christians upset or proud. I'm not sure. Probably, depending on who you ask, it could be both.
Seems right. I mean, it's basically just cultural appropriation, really.
Essentially,
is what it is.
yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's problematic.
I don't think cultural appropriation is problematic, generally speaking.
There are definitely extremes you can get to where it becomes like a little too on the nose. But
it depends on the climate of the culture, I guess. Like if it's done out of hostility, then you've got problems.
It's about intent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Intent is kind of everything. Not everything. There's something beyond
Most
intent to be said. But yes, for
much
the
of
most
the
part.
thing.
Yeah. So from a secular atheist viewpoint, it's just a very fun thing to do. And I could really just end it with that, but you know, I feel like that's not a very satisfying answer. You know, because I feel like, for example, if Islam was the dominant culture in the U.S. or something like, or the dominant religion in the U.S., I feel like, and say is there an Islamic holiday that's the equivalent of Christmas? I don't know. Probably. Either way, yeah. So if that were the case, and say it had the exact
an Abrahamic religion, they probably have some form of.
I was going to say there is probably something. I don't know off the top of my head. I would need to look into that. But if that were the dominant religion and there were some holiday that propagated through the culture in that way, I'm sure it would be doing the exact same thing if the aesthetic of the holiday was good enough, you know. And Christmas is just, I mean, there are a lot of fun traditions to participate in on Christmas. And I also feel like the way Christianity is kind of over the past 100 years or something, kind of like it's kind of operated on a gradient with like the majority being Christians slowly turning into less of a majority, right? In the way that, you know, atheism has kind of been growing. I know recently you can
very recently
make debates.
That's
but like
broadly speaking, yes, totally.
Yeah. I feel like it has that gradient downturn of Christianity from Christianity to atheism has, you know, kind of been why the tradition still carries on, because you could be a Christian when you're a child and participate in the holiday, and then you know, become atheist in your later years, and you're just like, well, but I still enjoyed Christmas, so I'm going to keep doing it, and then it just continues from there.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
So yeah, no, I think it is just a nice tradition. It's a nice enough tradition for atheists to still participate in it, and you can completely disconnect. It's very easy to disconnect the religion from the holiday as well.
So you don't seem to be particularly salty then about like the sort of genetic roots of much of our culture being lying in Christianity.
No.
Like a lot of
No.
the things that we do and think, and even our sort of form of our, to an extent, our form of individualism and our the way that we've structured our morals and laws and like all of this stuff sort of is institutionally Christian. It's been
sure. Yeah, I take issue with how direct it is. For example, if Christmas was more like inherently Christian, like if it had more traditions that were just like very difficult to separate from the religion itself, I think I would have more of a problem with it. So when you're talking about cultural decisions like lawmaking and whatnot, if it is like almost straight from scripture as to like what they're imposing in the law, that's when I take issue with certain things, like especially with like things like abortion and stuff like that. But I'm not going to get into that right now because we'll do that another time when we're feeling really ballsy. So yeah, but like if you can very easily separate the moral decision that you're having to make from the religion that inspired it, I feel like it's perfectly fine. Like obviously you have to afford people that freedom. Yeah, which I think is probably a fairly healthy and reasonable way of going about that as an atheist.
Glad to hear.
And a lot of atheists don't do that. They just outright attack Christians, which...
Glad to hear you're happy with your orientation. But no, I mean, I agree. I think that's legit. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Where do you fall on the like happy holidays to Xmas to Christmas spectrum?
Well, how do you feel about Xmas? Because I feel like that's
an attempt to remove Christ from Christmas.
I see. The direction of that was different. So you went from Christmas to Xmas to Happy Holidays, or are you just saying like the slow detachment of Christianity from Christmas?
Like if you're wishing someone,
I would say Merry Christmas.
Okay, right.
I would say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays or something like that, or Happy Christmas Kwanzaa.
That's fun.
Which is really fun to say.
Almost fun enough for me to justify.
Yeah, but I have no real problem with that. I mean, I own a menorah. Like it's not like I have no problem with separating. I don't know why, but I do.
Do you use it?
We have, just for fun.
All right.
I think the one time we did that I remember using is when we had a friend in who was Jewish. So obviously,
you're right.
Yeah.
Did they bring it? Is that
no? We already had it. We just happened to put candles.
That was
on
probably really confusing for the Jew.
Possibly, but the person we had over was very, very close with my mom. So
gotcha.
Or is still very close with my mom.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was both informed, but also like we already had it to begin with. So yeah. This fruit fly is going to drive me crazy.
Yeah. One of us will get him someday.
One of us. Yeah. Well, it'll be an event during this episode.
We should make them bet.
Yeah. It's like a poly market bet or like a cow sheep bet. What time in the podcast will they catch the fruit fly?
Ooh, I was thinking who does it, but.
Well, then we could very easily rig that, I feel like.
But we can't see what they're betting.
True.
We're cut off. No looking at your phone.
All right. I'll be hands off on my phone. Anyway, so I don't really have any... I mean, as an atheist, if people are slowly transitioning from saying Merry Christmas to something more akin to Happy Holidays or something like that, I have no problem with it. I think all of them are fine. Xmas, I do find a little... I just don't like when they shorten things that don't need to be shortened. So I just have a personal qualm with Xmas from from an etymological. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. I just from an etymological perspective, I have a problem with it, but it's like it realistically, it's not like morally problematic for me. How do you feel about that? This like slowly detaching Christianity from Christmas. I feel like you wouldn't. I'm going to make a prediction and say that you probably don't care too much about it, given how you've talked about Christmas prior to this.
Right.
But I want to see what you're feeling about that.
Yeah, no, I find Xmas kind of annoying because it just feels so pointed.
Right.
That, right, there's no need to shorten it in that regard, and it's just so clearly intentional
Is it meant to be a cross?
Cutting out the. No, I mean I think it's intentional as a means of cutting out the Christ from Christmas, so we don't have to go around and see the word Christ everywhere.
Huh. I guess it would be Temus. I guess it would be Temus if it was
Stop
cross.
saying that.
So I love that's like you can totally see some some magical book like some book about a magical some fantasy book having like some train conductor named Temus.
Like Teemus?
Teamus. Does that not
anyway
fit? What is so Xmas is specifically like almost redacting Christ from Christmas.
I don't know if that's like formalized anywhere, but that's generally what is thought of it in Christian circles, and I think that's a reasonable way to look at it.
Interesting. I did not know that was how that worked, to be honest.
That's how I feel about it.
Well, how do you feel about it?
Again, don't quote me on any of this, but yeah, so the Xmas thing kind of annoys me as regards Happy Holidays. Like I don't like it. I'm not gonna say it, but I do understand why one might do it in a pluralistic culture, where secularism is what's trendy.
Yeah, fair enough. So I would say, for me at least, when I think of Happy Holidays, I think of including Thanksgiving as well, which seems a little strange.
New Year's.
Yeah, New Year's, Christmas, and Thanksgiving are the three that I group in there.
Yeah.
Which Thanksgiving might be misguided, but
I don't group that in.
It feels right though. It's
so close. I mean, it
to
depends on when you say it. Like if you say it before Thanksgiving, then I think you're wishing someone a happy Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year. But if you say it after Thanksgiving, then you're wishing someone
of course.
a happy Christmas and New Year.
Yeah. But the phrase itself, I feel like contextually can be used for both of those.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Halloween is stretching it. Halloween is not it.
No.
Yeah. Halloween is not stretching. I usually because there's so many holidays grouped at the very end of it. I kind of just made the association that all the holidays that happen near the end of the year
are similar vibes. I mean, I guess except New Year's sort of, but Thanksgiving and Christmas are just so wholesome family gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think Thanksgiving is fine. Halloween, no.
We're just rating holidays now.
What is your favorite holiday? Actually, I'm curious.
Well, I was always a very Christmassy person. Now Christmas has kind of been taken down for me.
Mm-hmm. It's been knocked down it's gone down on your tier list of holidays.
So now I don't know. There's sort of a vacuum. I need to see
sorry. I feel like Easter would be probably one of the most significant Christian holidays.
I haven't been through an Easter after really coming into faith yet, and so I don't know. We'll see what that's like. I'll let you know.
All right.
Or maybe I can restructure Christmas such that it does build its importance back up to me from an explicitly Christian perspective. Although again, coming from the regulative principle, it feels unlikely to me.
Yeah,
I think I may just not have Christmas anymore in the extent that I'll still celebrate Christmas, of course. We'll do Christmas. We're not going to do Santa in my household that I start, right. but we will do Christmas, but it's just not, it'll be a B or C tier holiday.
Gotcha.
Instead of an A or S tier it had been.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I feel like we can get to that when we get to that, but I feel like Easter for sure also has a lot of pagan roots, just from an outsider's perspective.
Really? How so?
With the Easter bunny and painting eggs and stuff. Yeah. I feel like that absolutely.
That's likely.
Absolutely. It kind of parallels what's been happening to Christmas and what you were talking about.
Yeah, when I don't think of those things when I think of Easter. I feel like it's less of a it's less marketed. It's pushed the secular perspective of Easter is just pushed less.
Mm-hmm. But the eggs thing, where does the eggs thing even come from?
Know. That's a good question.
We'll look into this. We'll do some research after this episode.
Well, because Easter is also just sort of like how you were saying that Christmas was like an expansion or refining or whatever rework of a celebration of the winter solstice. Like, I feel like Easter is that, but spring.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe like fruitful harvest. Yeah. When you finally get fruitful harvests or something like
That's
that.
fall. Fall is the harvest season. You plant in spring and then harvest in fall. Because everything died in winter. How far we've gone from our agrarian roots.
Right. I could debate about whether or not an agrarian system would work, but I'm not going to.
That's
right
also
now.
a conversation for another
that's
time.
That's another, yeah. Because I've been reading up on a lot of economics.
You're beating me to it. I got
topics.
Yeah.
Yeah, which again, that's recently I read. I read some stuff that made me very convinced that just a full agrarian system would work. But anyway, we shouldn't talk about that.
Yeah.
Because that'll just get us.
I think we'll hit that on the consumerism one.
Probably, yeah. Hey, there's a little snippet. That's not a snippet, but a little teaser.
Sneak peek.
A sneak peek, yes, as to what we'll be talking about in the future, which should be very interesting. I'm actually going to fully
research.
Yeah, I'm going to do
that means I have to do that. I'll read a book that's pertinent. I'll read a pertinent book.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. We should put that one in the future, though, because I'll have to read that whole book.
So actually, a lot of my Christmas questions. So I had written down what the purpose of Christmas for atheists even was as one of my questions that we would talk about, which we already fully discussed. So that's already good. We kind of already touched on kind of like the romanticization of Christmas instead of detaching it, which we already talked about, is kind of like just the detachment from its roots. Which I feel like isn't problematic, and you seem to echo a similar sentiment on that.
Well, so in terms of the romanticization of Christmas, I feel like, again, there's an extent to which, though, we get all these good values and positive experiences specifically going around Christmas time. The traditionalism, the jazz, the nice dresses, the family time, whatever, all these things. And we associate that with the holidays. And so I feel like people sort of use that as an excuse to not have those things other times. We associate them with Christmas. And so in our minds, they become reserved for Christmas. And I don't think that's wise. In the same way we were talking about with the New Year's resolutions, jumping ahead here.
Yeah.
But it's yes, it's good to have a set of goals that you want to do, things that you want to be achieving, whatever, things that you want to change.
Yeah.
But there's zero reason whatsoever to have that fixed on a particular day like New Year. You should be doing that all of the time. You should always have a list of resolutions that you are doing and working toward. This is not a New Year specific thing. It's weird to me that people reserve it for New Year's, and then they'll be like, I want to stop smoking, and then they'll wait until New Year's they'll take a big hit at 11:59. That's not how conditioning does not work that way. It's like if you're trying to get off sugar, you don't withhold it from yourself and then every so often be like, you know what, I did really good today, I deserve a little sweet, or have it on special occasions. If you get a bowl of sugary cereal or a box of sugary cereal on your birthday to celebrate, but you withhold sugar from yourself other times, literally you are conditioning yourself to view sugar as a commodity and as a reward. That's the opposite of what you should be doing. If you withhold it from yourself, except when you've done something good, you are conditioning yourself to view sugar as a reward and as the thing. You build an association of sugar with good things and sugar with something that you want but can't have because you only let yourself have it sometimes. Terrible idea. If you want to stop eating sugar, and I can vouch for this because I have pretty much stopped eating refined sugar in concentrated forms. I mean, I'll have beef bulgogi or whatever, but just don't. Just reframe it in your mind. Reframe it in your mind. It's not that tasty. Natural sugars taste better. A blueberry tastes better than a chocolate bar. Period. It just does. And you feel better after eating it instead of worse after eating it. There's just cutting it out 90% and rewarding yourself with it 10% does not work. You have to cut it out 100% and reframe it, because everything, we've talked about this before, everything is a frame issue. Everything has to do
Mhm.
with how you're framing things by your behavior and by your words and your thoughts. And so if you frame it as a thing that you don't want, then you will stop wanting it over time. It's a matter of repeatedly instantiating that frame on yourself, which you don't do by rewarding yourself with it. And so in the same thing with the resolutions, you don't stop doing something or you don't make a change in your life by saying, I want to keep doing this thing now because I like it, but then I'm going to stop because I know it's bad for me. No, you stop because you stop now. You don't wait until New Year's. You stop now. You don't wait to come up with a list of things that you want to change about yourself until New Year's and then do them then, or start working toward them now or whatever. No, you just always you look at yourself, you see what's not as good as it could be, and you change that now. Because if you don't, then you're framing it as something that you want to keep but aren't letting yourself, which does not work.
Fair
And the
enough.
same thing with Christmas. I feel like we've set these values up as like this one specific thing for this one specific time. And so we've stopped emphasizing them in other times because it's like, oh no, that's a Christmas thing. We'll do that at Christmas. That's whatever. And it's not like, no, it shouldn't be. All of these values, all of these good things, the family time, the connection, the coming together, the wholesomeness, the traditionalism, the general oldness, which I just think is good. These things should not be reserved for Christmas. These are just things that we should just do. We need to stop framing them as like this, as like a particular celebratory thing that we're excused from not doing other times because we do it at this time.
I mean, fair enough. I feel like most people don't make that explicit of like like, for example, if you ask somebody like, oh, it's like, say it's November 30th or something. It's like, oh, we should totally, go over to, like, you're talking to your sister or something like that. And it's like, oh, we should totally go over to our parents' house or whatever and just like have dinner with them. It's like, they're not going to say, oh no, let's wait till Christmas. I feel like the normal, reasonable person would just be like, yeah, we probably should do that.
I think people do that, honestly.
But then I don't think that then that's a problem with the family itself and not with,
Sure.
their own. Because then if they were people that they wanted to be around, then they would be around them, I feel like. So I feel like maybe you can make an argument that like subconsciously that might be a problem.
Yeah, that is my case. I don't think that people are like actively thinking this in most cases, but I do think it has a subconscious effect on you. Your brain logs it that way, even if you don't.
I think my solution to it, in terms of, I'm going to get back to the resolutions style argument that you made with like the sugar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually do think that the associations thing can kind of work, because if you desire sugar and you want sugar and you only reward yourself with sugar when you do something that's like objectively good, yes, you could argue long term that's not a good solution possibly, but I do think that probably could work for some people. I feel like that would function. It's like a cheat meal for like eating really clean, You have that one cheat meal and it's like more of a reward. It's something to look forward to in order to keep yourself in line. You could say that's like faux discipline. It's like not real discipline if you're having to make these, deals with yourself in terms of what you're allowed to eat and what you're allowed to do and stuff like that. I do think, but I still think that can work for some people. I really do. Will it work for me? No. I recognize that it won't work for me, so I don't do it. And I think the majority of people, I agree with you, I don't think it could work. But I do think there are certain people that it can work with.
So here's the problem.
Well, can I?
Yes, go ahead.
One more thing. Okay, so my approach to it is to, and this is a very, very atheist argument, but is to acknowledge every single time you are receiving your dopamine,
your fix.
Yeah. So like, just be conscious of it. And if you're conscious of it, then you're going to be much more likely to make better decisions regarding it. Because then if it's fresh in your mind, most people just don't think about it when they do something they know they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like they won't think about it. They'll just grab a cookie out of the jar and eat it, just completely subconsciously, or not even subconsciously, they'll just like intentionally distract themselves by watching YouTube and eating the cookie, so they don't have to think about the bad thing they're doing in the eating of the cookie.
Yes.
So I think as long as I think the big thing is awareness. This is another thing with this is an argument against social media as well, but we can, again, I could ramble about that.
We should do one on social media.
We should.
Because we think very different things about that.
Yes. Yeah. So I generally, I would say that just awareness is everything. Be aware when you're making a bad decision, because then you could either decide to not make that decision, or at least you'll feel terrible making that decision. Just like you said with the eating the candy bar thing, you feel terrible after it. And that's because you have the awareness of it.
Oh, I meant like physically, like literally you feel gross after eating one. I get headaches from refined sugar. Headaches.
Me too. Also, not as bad as you. I can eat like a donut and feel great.
Jolly Ranchers wreck me.
I love Jolly Ranchers. Oh man.
Okay, so here's the problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing that you're trying to get away from, the thing that you're trying to wane from yourself. I'm not going to use the word wane, because that specifically implies what you're talking about and not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Oh no, I was thinking of wean. Never mind.
We actually had this. I've had this exact problem before between Wayne and Ween. I think it happened on the last episode.
That is hysterical, and you may be right. Yes.
I think that happened the last episode. Anyway, but
the thing that you're trying to free yourself from isn't the sugar itself necessarily. Like, that's not good enough. The thing that you're trying to free yourself from is the love of it, right? The drive to that thing. It's not good enough to not sleep with people who aren't your wife.
Right.
You have to not want to sleep with people who aren't your wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you've got to get with it. And the same thing with the sugar. Like, if you're like, again, Vodi Bakum gave an awesome example with this, where it's like, you can be an alcoholic and not have had a drink in 5 years. Like, you can not drink and very much still love alcohol and be driven by alcohol and be wishing you were having alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gonna, like, I think you can maybe, in some cases, not in most cases, I don't think it would work, but in some cases, maybe you can cut out the physical outcropping of the thing that you're trying to solve. Like, maybe you can get yourself mostly off sugar by only rewarding yourself with a little sugary treat on occasion, but it's not going to make you not want it. And my goal isn't to make myself not eat sugar. It's to make myself not want sugar. And I did that effectively. I no longer have a desire to eat those things. I look at them and I'm like, yeah, I just don't even, like, it sounds kind of good, but no, it wouldn't be. I know it wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, fair enough. So I think that is a big part. Like, the way I am kind of comparing this is actually to addiction. Like, if you have a craving to smoke a cigarette, that's a little different, because that is like physiological. In some sense, you can't just decide you don't want a cigarette. You know, that craving will still be there, and it's kind of ingrained in your head now. Same with sugar, I would argue. When it comes to like engaging in activities that you feel are, bad for you and you shouldn't do it, but don't have any inherent addictive properties beyond like just being fun or whatever, then sure, I think you can make a more conscious decision on, on that, and like truly condition yourself to
not want it.
To not want it, like at its core, like remove the core problem. But there are certain things like sugar and, addictive substances, because sugar is arguably an addictive substance.
Not even arguably, it just is.
Yeah. So I think you have to make you have to distinguish between those two things, but I would agree that both of them work. It's just harder when it is a substance. Well, it's one of the quirks of being human.
An addictive thing, broadly speaking. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, this is for another time.
Right, yes, and we can... this is not very Christmas vibes here that we're giving out. Talking about addictive substances and how to...
Christmas addiction.
That sounds like Chris addiction. And I'm like, who's Chris? You have to keep that in. That's awful. I hate that. Anyway, I realize I am very fortunate in this regard that I don't have many, like not even many. I just don't have any substances that I have addictive, like have any addictive practices or whatever with. I don't like, I'm not addicted to any physical substance.
Yeah.
Outright. Like there are things that I enjoy, but I realize I'm practicing, like I said, that level of awareness that you have when you're eating something you shouldn't, or
Right.
Yeah. So for me, that's been working great, and you can always get better at that because then your decision whether or not to continue engaging in whatever thing you think you shouldn't be doing, that you'll get better at saying no to that over time, just because the less you have of something, the less your craving slowly dwindles over time.
Yeah. Well, and also, right, it starts with the little things and compounds into the big things too, that practice of restraint. And so if you start with smaller things like not eating sugar or whatever, and you or trying to only eat healthily, or making sure you eat all 3 meals a day, or making sure you drink enough water during the day or whatever, all these little things that it's easy to ignore, but that that you shouldn't and you want to do better with and whatever. The small things, the bedtimes, that stuff can compound into bigger things like the sugar and cutting out larger stuff like that. And once you've practiced that level of restraint, cold showers, an awesome tool for this. Only marginally actually better for you. Like there's a point of diminishing returns at which it actually is better for you, as you say a lot.
Yeah.
But just making yourself do it anyway for the sake of doing it because it's unpleasant ends up with a sort of pleasantness in and of itself, but also is just an awesome way of practicing smaller restraint that bleeds into larger things.
And you get better at it over time, especially.
Dude, this is a social psychology thing also, right? It's the yes ladder. The more someone says yes, the more likely they are to say yes again, and vice versa. The more used to saying no you are, the more likely you are to say no again to a new thing.
Yeah.
And so if you can climb that ladder, the no ladder.
Yeah, no ladder. I was about to say the exact same thing. I'm actually kind of surprised that we agree on this, but but like I was gonna say, the small decisions that you make eventually catalyze into larger habits, which is exactly what I practice. I'm like, okay, if I can nail the small stuff and make sure I don't miss a beat on that, like then everything else will almost naturally follow. With the cold showers thing, I have problems with the ocean, and every single time I take a cold shower, I legitimately think I have like a trauma response. I'm not even joking.
No, fair enough.
I don't know why I have tried to take cold showers, and it's strange. Every single time I blink, I see the ocean. It's weird. If I'm taking a cold shower and I start to like panic, and obviously like panicking a little bit and like taking a cold shower for the first time in a while is kind of natural, like your heart rate's going to rise and stuff, but this is different. This feels like a panic attack. It's really pretty awful.
Crazy.
So
don't do that.
Yeah, so I might stick to
but you get the idea. My
lukewarm showers, which is where you need to get to. You don't have to take cold showers per se for the health benefits.
Right.
I think you just don't want it to be warm, like really, really warm. I think lukewarm to like room temp is kind of perfect, and it will feel a little bit cold, but it's.
I thought lukewarm and room temperature meant the same thing.
I don't think so. I think lukewarm is just like slightly warm, and room temp is like where you wouldn't consider it warm or cold. Either way, don't put on scalding hot water if you want skin benefits. That's all I'll say.
It's bad for you. Yeah. And like many of these other things, like sugar or whatever, like it's bad for you. And it feels like kind of nice, man. Like it does. A hot shower is like a hug. I don't get hugged a lot. So,
brutal.
I haven't had like a good hug.
You need a good hug?
In a solid few months here.
Well,
anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. So a warm shower is like a good hug.
Right, but it feels good like that in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you're done with it, your skin feels all crusty and gross. You feel bad about having done that because you know it's worse for yourself. And once you actually take the plunge, pun sort of pun intended,
take the plunge into your bathtub
and do it.
Anyway.
Well, it's worse too because the bathtub technically doesn't have water in it. It's just the shower that's running.
True.
So
yeah,
you kind of are plunging into ceramic or whatever they're made of, fiberglass.
That would just be painful. Don't do that.
Anyway, once you do that and take a cold shower, it like low key kind of feels better. It feels like there's an extent to which it's energizing. And also you sort of feel like when you take a hot shower, this is a great analogy for this. When you take a hot shower and you get out, the world feels cold and you feel unpleasant. When you take a cold shower, you start to feel the heat from your body create a layer in between you and the cold water, a layer of warmth, and you feel the warmth emanating out of yourself. And then you turn off the cold water, and then the world feels, and you've got the energy from the cold shower, and you've got that feeling of internal warmth, and the world is less cold than the water.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it feels kind of good once you get it because you're in there and you have this like, I choose this, I'm doing this thing. And then you get out and then the world just feels better. You feel more energetic. Your skin feels moist. You know, it feels warmer. It's just, it's the same thing. That same principle extracts out into this whole broader net of things that we're talking about, which is why I think they're so good, but don't do that for you specifically.
Right. Yeah.
Mr. Mason, not you, listener.
So I think, but I feel like even outside of cold showers, there are a bunch of other things you can do, which is why we got onto the topic anyway. Like, for example, just being, like saying no to something like a cookie.
No.
Just like even small stuff. It's going to, like we said, it'll propagate through the small stuff into bigger stuff. So yeah, just make small decisions that you feel are good for good for yourself.
I'm a big proponent of the idea that everything you do should be done with intention.
Like we said earlier, the intent matters. Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about New Year's now that we can talk about New Year's resolutions?
I feel like the resolutions kind of are the main thing to talk about New Year's. If you've got stuff, shoot. I
have some stuff. So
we should throw Thanksgiving in here too. We should talk about that. This may get a little racier, actually.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't talk about Thanksgiving.
In the interest of happy bonding time, we will not talk about Thanksgiving. Which is a funny irony, but people get like mad about it. People get mad about Thanksgiving for historic reasons, and I think I don't like that. I don't approve of the.
I've kind of looked at it as like there's now a modern disconnect from its historical roots, and now it's
much
because
like Christmas.
The actual traditions and stuff are still good to practice. So I don't have any problems with that. But again, we can.
You're right.
I feel like that'll throw us into a tangent that we really should not get into. So, but like the reason I wanted to talk about New Year's is because, admittedly, I feel like over the years, I have gotten a lot better at understanding my own emotions and stuff like that. I feel like I've become a more emotional person as well. Over the years, I was kind of like a husk of a human back in high school, but I won't talk about that right now. All you need to know is it's better.
They were there, obviously. It's just that you've become aware of them now.
Yes, aware, and that awareness propagates into more confidence and whatnot. Yeah,
dude, it's like language with thought.
Yeah. Anyway, and I've realized over the past couple of years that as New Year's comes around and stuff like that, I end up feeling more sentimental about the year as it happened. Like before, I was like, it doesn't really feel substantial, but over time, it's become more of like no, I should be thinking about these things. I feel like I need to reflect on my entire year at the end of the year. And of course, there's no inherent structure. Like, for example, we could begin the year in summer, and it wouldn't physically change anything. It's just you need to have a certain date where you say, this is the end of this big period in my life. And with that, I found myself just being more sentimental. Like this is the first year that I'm actually writing down resolutions for New Year's.
No, we've always made you do that. We like burn them in the fire. Oh, that's a different thing.
That's a different thing, though.
Yeah,
I thought about that, and I'm like, yeah, but that was because I wouldn't have done that myself, though. That's
Right,
just because
right,
everybody
okay,
else
yes,
was
fair
doing
enough.
it. I am on my own.
Peer pressure.
Yeah. I am on my own deciding that I want to write down New Year's resolutions and also reflect on, goals that I may have set for myself the previous year. Not like written down because of course this is the first year, but, would have subconsciously thought about that I wanted to do this year, that I maybe didn't do, or maybe things that I did do and I should be proud of that. And I've just found myself thinking about that a lot more.
Do you want to share them?
For the first in a while. I could share a couple. A lot of them relate to discipline, though.
Yeah, that's fair. We're young men. That's just kind of how it goes.
So a lot of it's just like, reducing screen time and that type of stuff. It just feels good to actually have it written down. It feels more official, and I feel a responsibility now because, like, if I had it subconsciously, in my mind that I wanted to do something this past year and I didn't do it, there's things I would have like forgotten that I wanted to do. Yeah. And now I can't, figure out whether or not I was actually successful this year in doing what I wanted to. So it feels nice. There's some sentimental value in just writing it down. But of course, we were talking just a little bit about this earlier, prior to the podcast. I know you have different opinions on New Year's resolutions, which you voiced already.
And on pod,
earlier.
we did talk about it a bit here.
Yeah. Basically saying that, it shouldn't have a specific deadline. And I've avoided looking at it that way. It's more like going in for a doctor's appointment, like just a checkup at the doctor's.
See, I don't like doing that either.
Right. But like, it's a responsible thing to do generally, is just to like make sure. Cause like, they could catch something really bad ahead of time before it happens. And they could, it could be a serious thing. Anyway, it's just like generally looked upon as like a good habit, right? To like every once in a while go do a doctor's checkup just to make sure everything's all good. But what'll like leading up to that, say you do a checkup every year at the doctor's, what you do, or the dentist is probably a better thing, right? Like you have to consistently brush your teeth and floss and do whatever other dental hygiene things that you need to do prior to it. You can't pull the old brush your teeth especially well before a dentist appointment type of thing. Like that's just not going to cut it.
Right.
So again, I also recognize that, you have to make the decisions consistently, and there shouldn't really be a tie to New Year's specifically, but New Year's can act more as that doctor's checkup to just say, okay, yes, everything's either going well, or, I realize there's some, shortcomings in certain things that I was trying to do that you can then recognize, because it gives you like that motivation to think of that big picture instead of like the small stuff.
Yeah, I like what you were saying earlier about using it as more of a space to like check in with and analyze your progress on the goals from the previous year than making new ones. Although I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe my same principle extends, but it can. I don't know. Yeah, no. I think it's helpful to have a period where you zoom out and look at what has happened over the last quarter or year or whatever. I think that's good. And I have much less problem using it that way than using it as a particular, okay, so I'm going to make these goals. Yeah, I just think you should always have a running list of goals that you're working toward and always be doing them. I think you can split your resolutions, whether they're New Year's resolutions or just general resolutions that you always run and are responsible about. I think you can split them into two categories. I think you can run a category that's more underlying stuff, qualities, things about yourself, discipline, like sort of spontaneity or outgoingness is something that has become a big thing for me. It's been
Yep, I'm aware.
Yeah. And so you've got your qualities that you want to adjust or change or fix or whatever. And then the other category is the specific practices or outworkings of those things that you're like particularly worried about. Like discipline is a thing that I need to work on. And that's sort of one of the underlying things. I would get a little more specific in an actual thing, I think. But But then particularly it's like, okay, so I'm going to do these, I'm going to write this amount of stuff. I'm going to write at this regular interval, or I'm going to, start doing just like the concrete things, the routine things, the practical stuff.
Yeah.
So I think, that's what it is. I think you can run your resolutions in abstract and practical, and it's important to have both domains within your list of goals or resolutions that you're running at any given moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a very reasonable way of looking at it. And I think I don't know. I feel like most people would agree with that. I don't think so I feel like I realize why you were a little distasteful with the idea of New Year's resolutions originally. And I feel like it's the same.
I still am.
Thing but but I feel like it's the same thing at its core as your problem with manifestation.
How so? In
that, I feel like most people feel like once they write, I feel like most people would view it as as soon as they write something down as a New Year's resolution, they're expecting that thing to be easier to get now that they've written it down. Does that make sense?
Okay, maybe.
Which is
one of those where I don't think people think of it like that, but maybe subconsciously the brain.
I think subconsciously, I don't think most people would recognize that that's happening, but I feel like it's like writing down a to-do list for the day. You know, I feel like subconsciously it kind of helps in order to get through it, because then you can tick stuff off of the list.
Interesting.
And not even from just a motivational standpoint, but the hardest part about building a habit is just starting at some point. You know, taking the first step is often the hardest part of it, which you could argue might not be the case via the Dunning-Kruger effect, but anyway. Usually from my experience, going to the gym for the first time is daunting, and it's, tough, and it's going to be different. So it's going to be difficult. The more different something is, the more difficult it'll be to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like if, taking that first step can sometimes almost be felt in part by just writing it down, saying, I'm going to do this. I feel like that almost ties into it a little bit. I wouldn't say it's the same thing, but I feel like it does help.
I wonder if that's not a placebo thing, because I feel like in the same way you could also use that as a sort of excuse to avoid doing the thing, because you feel like when you write it down, you feel like you've accomplished something and taken that first step when you haven't actually, and so it's a nice
possibly, little But I also think manifesting is partly placebo, is almost entirely placebo as well.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, but placebo is an actual thing that takes place in your subconscious, so it can be useful. So I think for people that don't have, this is going to sound terrible. I don't mean to put anyone down or anything, but for people that don't have that greater awareness of how that's all functioning, I feel like it actually can be useful. Which I feel like is kind of the reason why most people participate in that to begin with.
Well, people also famously do not adhere to their New Year's resolutions, though.
That's true. Yeah, I will.
And this is the problem with making them New Year's resolutions. This is my contention with the whole thing, is that, if of course you're not going to ascribe to it if it's some random arbitrary thing that you're setting for yourself starting at this time period that you're going to make the change, and then trying to just make it happen forever without shifting. You cannot, if you really want something, or you really are used to being away, you can't just say, I'm not going to do that thing anymore. I'm not going to be that way anymore. You can't do that without reframing it in your mind. You have to set the frame in your mind of that is not a thing that I associate with myself in order for there to be any change, which is why it has to be a continual thing. I don't think it'll work if you make it I don't think New Year's resolutions can work. I'm taking a new, even more aggressive stance. Because of the way that psychological framing goes, I don't think they can work. It has to be continual.
There have to be counterexamples, and maybe those counterexamples that do pop up, because I feel like being able to view it continually is in and of itself a skill, and I feel like setting, even if you make a date-wise association with New Year's in terms of your resolutions and what you want to accomplish, I feel like even then that might act as almost like a training act in actually developing the skill to look at things continually, you know?
The problem is it sets the wrong motivator, because if you run it as a New Year's resolution, then, and I know where this ends up because I've done similar things myself, and it's like okay, I want to stop doing this thing. I'm going to start here at the start of the new year, and then I'm not going to do it anymore. And then the motivation for not doing it, instead of being a distaste for the thing, which is what you need to actually stop, the motivation for it becomes like a Snapchat streak or like a Duolingo streak. And it just doesn't, that's not enough to pull you away from the thing.
No, but what I'm saying, I think there's a subset of people that are smart enough not to look at it that way. But still, like, you know, can use New Year's resolutions as just a nice kick-off point. I think the two can coexist. I understand you might be like an all or nothing framing argument type of person.
Yeah.
But I still think those two can coexist. I wonder, there's probably case studies on this that I would be fascinated to look into.
My problem with the kickoff point is that if you're waiting to start, if you really don't want to do the thing, then why are you waiting to start until New Year's? Why do you need a kickoff point? Why don't you just stop now?
Okay, so maybe it's a difference between stopping and starting. Because I've been looking at it as starting. Like, for example, I'm going to start going to the gym on, from New Year's and beyond. I'm going to start going to the gym. But then you can build a habit because you set that as your New Year's resolution to start going to the gym. And then you don't have to write that down in your New Year's resolution the next year, because then you just genuinely understand the value of going to the gym and you continue to do so.
Maybe, but if that's where you are with it, then why not just start now? I mean, I realize today is New Year's Eve, so I can't really say that effectively in this conversation.
Right, but say it was like December 1st.
Right. Why not start now?
I mean, fair enough. And I think the more healthy way to do that is to start now. But like, I mean, people might, I think it's because of all the busyness of the holidays probably just makes that, that's probably why New Year's resolutions exist to begin with, is because you have to get through all the holiday related stuff. And then you can finally start your year off on like a good note or a productive note. But I still think you can build a habit on that. Like, I know cold turkey can work. I know this can work. In fact, this is going to be an embarrassing story, but when I was really young, I sucked my thumb like quite a bit until I was like pretty old. I would say probably third grade, maybe second grade. I don't know, something like that. And I set, no, I think it was way before that. Never mind.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it was like kindergarten or something. Anyway, I told my parents, on this day, next week, I'm going to stop. And I legitimately, completely cold turkey, completely stopped from that day on. So I know it can work. And then I realized, okay, yeah, I don't actually have that desire to to continue doing it. So like
the thumb suck.
Sometimes, sometimes I feel like kickoff points can work, and maybe that's just because of the naivety of me as a kid. Possibly that's because I wasn't I hadn't built out a moral system or like hadn't built out self-discipline at that point, and maybe there's something else that had influence on that. But I do know that can function for people, and I can report back. I have not sucked my thumb since.
Really?
I have not gone back on my addiction. Yeah. So I know cold turkey can function in certain respects.
When he'll relapse.
Because under your thing, it'd be like...
Are you worried that if you tried it, you would like...
No. That's my point, is I feel like under your constraints...
Okay, then suck it right now.
I don't want to for hygienic reasons.
Yes, that was a joke. Anyway, you were saying?
But like, I feel like there are certain things under your constraints. I feel like you would say that desire was never figured out. It was never fixed. It's still in me, and I want to suck my thumb, Whereas that just is not the case. Like I have no inherent desire to do so anymore.
Okay, fair enough. I will revise my thing.
Okay.
It is possible to make a New Year's resolution work and to get out of a thing that way by setting a deadline and then beginning to adhere to it at that deadline, or I guess the opposite of it. deadline, the
Yep.
start line, the
Mhm.
lifeline.
Right. Mhm.
It's possible, but I don't think it's efficient, and I think
Mhm.
it's less likely than it is if you do it with proper framing.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And again, part of the reason for that is the motivational structure too, because if you wait until New Year's to start doing your resolution, like even if you're not thinking this right now, like yourself, like consciously, or even maybe if it's not like what you think or what the motivation is,
Yeah.
subconsciously, your brain will take that as not exactly a reward system, but it's like, okay, so I associate this thing with myself. I should stop associating this thing with myself, but I want to do it for this last little stretch here. And that makes it feel like a commodity. That makes it feel like a loss.
Yeah.
Instead of a scraping off of fungus or whatever.
Do you think that like there's any, distinguishing factor there that could be found in the starting versus stopping of a habit?
I do. I wonder about that. I really don't know. I do tend to frame it.
Because I think if I'm talking about stopping something, I actually would be more, strictly principled in the way you are with that. I feel like there does need to be a fundamental change for you to actually figure that out. And I still think, like I said, from that I can totally see why you'd why you'd say like, yeah, it's possible, but it's very, very unlikely. With stopping something, I actually completely agree. Because I'm putting myself in that framework now, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
you need to make there needs to be a fundamental change in the way you're looking at whatever you want to stop, for you to actually stop. Because otherwise, it is like a Snapchat streak, like you said. It's the exact same.
Yeah.
So I think starting something, I feel like, is the same as what you were saying, but it's a little bit, I feel like it works a little bit better than stopping something in terms of like the efficacy. That's not the effectiveness. The effectiveness of New Year's resolution. Efficacy is specifically medical, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think it like pertains to how, well a drug works in subduing a symptom or something like that.
Well, certainly the positive and negative frameworks for change, for instigating change, for instilling change, for instantiating change, for making change,
instilling change.
I feel like that implies it in a thing distinct from you. Like I would instill change in you. I don't know if I instill change in me, but anyway, back on topic.
There is a word for that, yeah, but I don't know what it is.
It is a different thing.
Inspiring. Anyway, sorry.
Again, that feels
no, that's another.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's totally a difference between stopping and starting, and you can frame anything both ways. Like I'm gonna, and sometimes you have to use double negatives, but like, I'm gonna stop being lazy. I'm gonna start writing. Both the same thing. It's just looking at it from different angles. And with the stopping, so I don't know, maybe that's like a broader framing thing, because I do definitely tend to frame things in the negative, in the restrictive, is just how I look at things. I find it a lot easier to look at the world through a means of cutting things out and shaving it, like chiseling away the marble from David,
Gotcha. I'm actually the opposite.
Interesting.
I'm much more of a building out instead of chiseling away.
And so from that mindset, then it's like, okay, yeah, so we're cutting all these things out. We're stopping all these things that don't work. And so just as part of that process, it's like, okay, I've been lazy. I'm not writing. I need to stop doing that. I need to stop not writing. I need to stop being lazy. I need to refine this part of my process and instill these things in myself and whatever. But it's always, I do think I tend to look at it from the negative. And so
I wonder if you could find, like, if you polled atheists versus Christian, or even people who are spiritual in any way versus, which is a lot of people, versus like atheists or people that look at things more objectively.
No.
People that
atheists
look at the
less
world
objectively.
more objectively. How about that?
No, you mean
relatively.
No, that's not what you're trying to say. I think it's true, but it's not what you're trying to say. Empirically.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. So I wonder if you polled people on that, whether or not like the framing of their goals would actually follow suit with that,
It's a
because I feel
fascinating
like there
question.
would be a connection between that actually.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, so I would be curious
I
on
think
that.
I was like that before coming to faith, though.
But you've also said that you've like kind of always felt like that was in you anyway, and this is like the final evolution.
That's also true.
So
Yeah.
I feel like that still functions, whether or not you feel the love of God in you from day dot. You know.
Sure. I don't think that it comes from having a religious framework, because I had it before having a religious framework. But
Yes.
that is a different thing. Fair enough.
The other thing I wanted to say is speaking as to the scope of your goals, you know, like if you want to say, I feel like the smaller your goals get, the better, like, you know, the more functional that New Year's resolution actually is. Like, for example, I want to be more healthy. Like, of course, I want to be more healthy. Sure, that'd be great.
Right.
But if I just set that as a New Year's resolution, it's a horrible starting off
Yes.
point, because then it's not concrete enough. You need something that's not too restrictive, but much more concrete. Like, it still has to be very, very concrete, but not like 100%, you know? So like that would be, say you really, really like Starbucks. It's like, I'm going to, for this entire year, not go to Starbucks. I'm going to brew my own coffee at home.
Right.
You know, to save on money, to save on money. I mean, Starbucks is ridiculous.
Yes.
But yeah, so if that's one of your goals in the being more financially responsible umbrella, that works a lot better than just like, oh yeah, I need to spend less, you know? Or like saying, if you have a shopping problem, you can specifically limit yourself to shopping, you know, only once in a certain period of time, like once every 3 months or something like that.
For sure.
You know? So I think there has to be a level of concreteness to it, but it can't be too restrictive, because, you know, if I say I'm going to not eat sugar this entire year, like, yes, that's very healthy, but it's also so unrealistic that you're bound to fail at some point on it almost. Like, I feel like almost everybody would do that. You know, it's like going from like being a person who loves eating meat and having that type of diet to going vegan. It's like, whoa, that's a big jump. And you're much more likely to fail on it, which means you're more likely to just throw the whole idea out the window instead of downgrading it to like vegetarian or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If that is your goal, you would speak, you know, you would
Bible
probably
says,
say that it doesn't matter in that regard. But like just being more healthy, for example, like saying I'm not going to eat any sugar, you're likely to, you're likely to have a shortcoming at some point on that, you know? Like that's really, really hard to do.
And any sugar.
So if you limit it, you can limit it really strictly, but not entirely. And I feel like that works really, really well. I wonder if you agreed with that, or how you would look at defining goals.
I stick to my former thing. I don't know. I did go into it with the mentality of like, okay, like really what it is for me is like, okay, so I know this thing is bad for me. Why am I cutting myself any slack and letting myself do the thing? Mm-hmm. And so then it was a matter of progressively reframing the thing in my mind, like I was talking about, where it's like, yeah, okay, so I'm not going to and it's just a matter of thinking about what it really is. Like you were talking about with the awareness, it's just like, okay, whenever you are faced with that decision of like, I want to have a soda or whatever, it's like, okay, really, what am I getting out of this? Like it tastes kind of good, but it's bad for me and I'm poisoning myself, which is not good stewardship of the body. Mm-hmm. I feel worse after having it than better. I get like a little headache. I feel kind of gross. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't taste that good. Like it simply does not taste as good as like orange juice. It just doesn't. I
actually would agree. I've never understood why people are so obsessed with soda.
And once you get off the stuff, it's all like that. Like candy bars just don't taste good. They literally don't. They taste weird, man.
So I've realized I've gotten much more niche in my, in what I've enjoyed in my candy. Like there are just, I've refined. I used to be like, as a kid, it's like any sugar is like, man, oh my God, like, sugar. Whoa. Yeah. Whereas now it's more like, I've like, okay, there are certain candies that are just so good. It's like, okay, every once in a while, like for example, Sour Patch Kids, I don't know if I'll ever be able to really give that up, but it's fine because I have it like maybe once or twice a year. I'll have Sour Patch Kids, which is a really healthy relationship with candy. To have it once, maybe twice a year, that I'm doing pretty well in that regard. But it's like, but like I said earlier, you can't cut off everything because I feel like that just isn't reasonable. It doesn't.
Sure, and I mean, I still have a slice of cake on my birthday and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll do it, but it's more for the custom than it is for the cake. Like I don't even really. Like I find when I eat that slice of cake, I don't particularly enjoy it, and I feel kind of gross afterwards. And it's a nice little reminder of like, no, it's just not it.
Mm-hmm.
The refined sugar. It's like, give me a bowl of blueberries, dude. Give me a bowl of frozen blueberries instead.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, I mean, I don't. It's just a matter of looking seriously and critically and absolutely about your life and the things that you do in it, and saying for each of them, is this actually good for me? And then if it's not, if the good doesn't outweigh the bad in that decision, then like, why are you letting yourself do that? To my mind, it's the same thing we were talking about with how the decisions compound.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you cut yourself that slack and let yourself have that little thing, that mentality of slack cutting and reframing as a commodity and like all that stuff is just going to bleed upward.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, it's bad for you. Don't put things that are bad for you in you.
Yeah.
Just like, don't like honor your body, want what's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
That mentality will bleed into your psychological life and your relational life and your professional life. Don't want things that are good for you.
Don't guys, don't want things that are good for you. Don't
put things in you that aren't good for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. And so the more absolutely you can practice that, the better. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you can just cut it off and say like, okay, I'm not going to do this I'm not going to do this thing for my, I'm losing my powers of
anymore.
Speech. I'm not going to do this thing anymore, even though I know it's bad for me.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what's wrong with me right now. I'm not going to do this thing anymore because I know it's bad for me. You can't just cut it off at a hard line and say that and like have that be that. It's got to be a reframing. It's got to be like, like it can't be I'm not going to do it because it's bad for me. It's going to be it has to be I don't want to do this anymore. And you have to, and then when you're faced with that temptation, you have to then run through that framework of like, I don't want to do this. Why don't I want to do this? Here are all the reasons I don't want to do this. And so if I do that anyway, then I'm thrusting all of these consequences upon myself, and that's reckless and bad for me and all that stuff.
So you're moving from the ought to the want. Like I ought to do this.
Right. Yes.
Moving something from an I ought to do this to an I want to do this.
I love that. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Which I agree. I think that's important. I just think that sometimes having a specific set in stone date for that, like a time to do so, can actually be the catalyst for moving from ought to want.
Maybe. I mean, I really only have struggled with addiction with one thing ever. And I have not broken that out of the want category yet. So
gotcha.
I really don't feel like I can speak on, I mean, I've had ups and downs. I've had extended periods of being off and not feeling like I want it, but there's always a relapse. And so I don't know. I mean, I can't really speak on hard addiction. I can't speak on this in the context of hard actual addiction. Cause I haven't solved that yet. I don't have an answer for that one yet. But in terms of anything less than actual addiction, then I think this model is the best one and the one that works.
Yeah, come on, you didn't like get addicted to cocaine just for the difficulty, of getting off. Anyway, so I think that's pretty healthy. I think there's a difference there between the way we look at it, but I think it's relatively like we're
similar.
Actually
Dude,
I love
what you said about the how you put the moving from ought to want. That's like my whole. I just wrote like a whole piece on this, man. That like there's the purpose, there's how everything ought to be in you.
Yeah.
And like the whole, I guess I didn't write a thing on it, it's separate, but like the whole thing about morality, the whole thing about faith, all this stuff is an issue of aligning your will with the divine will, aligning your will with what is intended.
Are you the divine will? Sorry.
Sadly, no.
Sadly, no. Is that response in line with God's intent?
I think so. I mean, we're all striving to participate in the divine.
Okay, yes. That works because I said divine and not God.
Yes, no, that's a separate, yes.
Okay, yes. I'm on board now. I did actually want to ask you some more like reflective questions just about the past year, and feel free to shoot them back at me. I actually haven't prepared any answers for this, so this will be interesting.
I would love to.
But my number one thing was just like, what was the biggest thing that you changed in terms of your opinions about something this year? Like, what was the most fundamental thing you went back on or had like a change in your own belief system in?
Interesting. Okay.
Because I genuinely don't know. I have like a good, maybe have like the rough outline of where it might lie in your belief system, but I don't know for sure. So I was curious what you thought about that.
Cool. No, I'm down to think about this in a moment. But let me clarify something real quick first. I do want to say, because we've been laying out systems to change habits and make positive changes and break bad things and whatever, break those chains. I don't mean to suggest by building frameworks and offering ways to like get yourself out of that stuff or whatever. I don't mean to suggest in any way, and you'll obviously disagree with that, but just for posterity, I don't mean to suggest in any way that you can do that by your own strength or that you are responsible for doing that. The only way that you do that is the only way that you do it at the very bottommost deep-rooted heart level in the way that I was talking about is by the grace of the Spirit, which is a faith thing. And the matter of aligning your will with the divine will and orienting yourself, pointing your will toward what is good is something that is only done in you by the Spirit. I have to say doctrinally, and I do think I agree with this. And so like, but there is some capacity of working in tandem with that. Right. There's that verse that's like, maybe it's not a verse, but people say a lot,
right.
That you don't like pray for a good harvest and then like not plant your crops. You have to do the work and you have to be faithful and lean entirely on the divine strength. But yeah, so just by laying out a system to break free from things, I don't mean to suggest that you do that yourself. It's still by faith. It's just that faith works through means, and these are good ways to help align yourself with that and make practical action alongside your faith and your yearning to be moved by the Spirit in a positive direction.
So essentially you have to, so would you say that like in the harvest example, you have to make your own personal decisions in order to allow the divine will to shine through in your harvest. So you have to allow it to do it by planting the seeds, but then by planting the seeds, you're then allowing it to do its work.
Divine will is going to do whatever the heck it wants.
Okay.
But
if the divine will wills crops to be fruitful or whatever, then
you have to do, if you want something, you have to do everything in your power to make that happen, and also recognize that whether or not it happens is completely out of your control and is up to the divine will.
Okay.
But you can't ask for something and not do everything you can to make it happen, to prepare for it. So like if you want the good harvest, then yeah, you pray for a good harvest. You recognize that that'll come solely from the divine. And then also you do everything you can and plant and prepare the seeds and whatever. And then if you don't end up with a good harvest, then you accept, okay, this was not the will for me, and it's fine because God's will be done. Right. But you have to do everything to prepare for it. And then if you do get a good harvest, then it's like, okay, right. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Anyway, so
Yes. So the biggest thing that has changed for me in the way that I understand things, what was the...
Yeah, so basically the I think the way I originally wrote it was the biggest assumption that you went back on, but I think I would just say the biggest
the biggest
change
thing
that
you've
you
come
had
around
in
on.
your belief system. Yeah.
Yeah, right, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I really do not do well with time. I don't
Gotcha.
have a great conception of when a great
Perception.
concept. Yes. I don't have a great concept of exactly when things happened.
Right. Okay.
to or in me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. A year ago.
Mm-hmm. And I can speak first if you want, like, because I actually have been I was thinking about that in the background.
Yeah.
And if you want me to explain mine first, just to give
sure.
you some.
Go ahead.
So honestly, this kind of happened in the latter half of the year, but I have gone from more, I guess, more distinctly like everything is relative to then like owning that certain relativity can allow for subsystems to exist, and we can just analyze those subsystems on their own and they have meaning. Let me explain. So originally in some of the earlier podcasts, especially like on consciousness and stuff, I must have been a pain to talk to because I still kind of believe if you think that anything provable is anything that is true, is the marker of truth itself, then everything still holds. But I'm kind of changing whether, like, I've kind of had a little bit of a shift in my mindset towards that allows for truth not necessarily to propagate through what can or cannot be proven.
Fascinating. What do you think caused that?
I have no idea. I think I have just become a more emotional person, mainly because of recent events.
Right.
But I think it's just been a fundamental change to that, and it's allowed for, I think, probably more interesting discussions to happen, especially on this podcast. But it's also generally been better for me overall. Like, I've felt better as a person with that shift in mind, because it just, I shift from a annoying, almost like Reddit atheist, to more of like a casual atheist, which has been very, very nice. And it's not like I don't know my stuff. I still know my stuff and I have my opinions on stuff, but it's been beneficial, not only practically, but also I think it's just a better way to live life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I would say has been the biggest difference for myself. But I also may be forgetting stuff because I am also having the time issue where I'm like, I don't even remember what last January was like.
Yeah.
Or this previous January. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. I didn't know that was happening in there. I'm glad. This is progress. This is
yeah. I mean,
no, that's really cool.
I still obviously hold a lot of distaste for the idea of God, but
no, sure, of course.
But
moving from everything is meaningless inherently to things exist in smaller domains that have meaning is like a massive step.
Under the assumption that anything that can be proven is what is true.
Yeah, I just don't.
I still believe that if you believe in that axiom that follows. I think I've just kind of neglected, or not neglected. I've retracted that axiom.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff still exists in me, but it's not coming from that per se.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah. It's been, like I said, it's been nice practically as well, because I've just understood my own emotions a lot better since doing that. I think I think that actually, like, I had things that I wanted and I had goals that I wanted, and through wanting those goals, I just had to remove that axiom from my core belief. system. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that would probably be my answer.
No, sweet.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's good. I don't think that axiom is particularly functional or particularly true, but
Mm.
yeah. So let's see. Last January, this January,
This January feels like it's referencing this coming January.
last January,
this past January, probably.
this
No,
most recent.
that adds a level of recency. I don't think.
I think this last January works.
Okay, we'll roll with that. January 2025.
I would still have been, because that's okay. Don't make fun of me for this.
Okay, I won't.
January,
you don't have to say anything
February,
you don't
March,
want to.
April, May, June. Okay,
Mm.
so 5-ish months.
Mm.
That would have been 5-ish months before I got out of my last long-term relationship.
Right. Yes.
Because that was summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a very, very transformative period for me, actually, looking at the and I mean it's been a progression since probably roughly then, actually, to now, of radical transformation and radicalization in terms of just what I believe and how I practice it. It's right. I mean, one of the biggest hurdles that I had to go through was that relationship was not like Christ-centered and God-honoring.
Mm-hmm.
And so then getting to a point where I prioritized Christ and God enough to step out of that was like a huge, huge transitional point and like milestone in my faith, even in itself. I think that kind of marks my moving out, because you know me, I'm a romantic. I'm a very, 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 very family-centered guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think until that point, it had always been like even as I sort of came back into faith and whatever, it was like I had the disordered loves thing. I think I kind of put family first, and then it's like, okay, so God works and I accept God, but because it functions and structures and is good for family, God for family. When it's gotta be the other way in a faithful life, it has to be family for God. I still hold family as my absolute highest and core value among worldly things, but it has to be under and in the interest of service to God.
So is the reordering of those?
I think me leaving that relationship was that, because it was comfortable and there were lots of things that were nice and good about it, and there were parts of me that did not want to leave and whatever, but it's like this does not align with the path that is prescribed to us by the word and by faith. And so I have to, and so putting the leaving was an act, like a literal demonstration of that, putting the faith above of shifting those priorities. And there are other things that go into it, because also like a lot of my problem was that it wasn't being structured in a way that was faithful. So there was, I mean, it's more complicated than that. There's more interplay, and more of it was me getting close to the divine, and then that revealing things that weren't working and weren't whatever. But in an abstract sense and in a very simplified sense, I think there's that component. And then that realigning then I think was sort of the start, like the first, like, and again, it's a gradient, and there were things that led up to this. It was a slow progression to that point, but it was the start of, like, I don't know, the codified, the really, the tangible movement, the tangible, like, shift in direction of everything in my life toward the divine, toward the divine prescription, toward the law, toward the divine will, toward the light, toward the calling, all those things. It was,
like you said, shifting your will towards the divine.
Yeah. And so I think that was the first, like, big foundational act of that. And then once that happened, then it was, then I started,
then it snowballed from there.
Yeah. Then I started I started writing. I stopped eating sugar. I started shifting the way that I prayed, shifting the things that I was looking for in myself and in my future, and cutting everything out that didn't align with the telos, with the divine intention for people, for men, for me specifically, going down in that order.
Right.
Yeah. And so I think that's probably the biggest thing, is just this radical shift toward a complete orientation toward and whittling in the image of the divine. For me, that wasn't really there at the start of the year in the way that it is now. And I've come around to a point where I really try, like my favorite like Christian-y expression is Soli Deo Gloria. It's what I write anywhere if there's like a reason for me to like write something on a wall or whatever. And it
praise be the day?
I'm getting a call. It means solely, it means for the glory of God alone. And it's sort of an extraction of the verse, let all that you do be to the glory of God. That's not a verse. That's my extraction of the verse. The verse, let all that you do be to the glory of God. That's what I just said. I don't remember what the verse is, but it's the same thing.
Right. Yeah. No, I understand.
And so yeah, just trying to live that principle and really trying to get everything in my life, everything that I do, everything that I think, every action, everything about me being specifically for the glory of God. That's the aim. That's my anchor.
Gotcha.
And that is newer.
Yeah, fair enough. I have witnessed this all happen, and I had forgotten that all of this had happened this year.
I know, right?
It seems like it was much longer ago.
It
like
really
we had done a trip to Korea.
Yeah, that was last summer, 2 summers ago.
2 summers ago, which feels like it was this past summer, but it wasn't. Time flies. It's crazy.
Yep.
But yes, as somebody who has been witnessing this happen over time, I can really only agree and say, like, yes, this has absolutely been.
Thank you. Praise God. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Looks the same from the outside as it feels on the inside. That's great. That's very affirming.
Yeah, those are just thinking about that previous question. We had some heavy hitters in the
this was
in the belief
massively transformative year for both of us. This year kind of like comparatively too. I feel like I have changed so much more this past year, roughly speaking, maybe couple years, but really just this last year, I think, like compared to other years, has been way, way, way more transformative.
Yeah, fair enough. I would agree, but I feel like it's been in all of places that I didn't expect that to happen in, which I feel like is kind of a good thing, considering that because I can make active strides towards trying to do other things, and those have always just been kind of constantly running. But I feel like a lot of the things that I ended up, changing my beliefs in weren't what I was aiming for at all, and they just kind of happened.
Yeah.
But I think they're probably good things anyway, so I have no problems with that being the case. Anyway, my last question, which you might take issue with this question to begin with, but like if you had to deliver some type of
baby
piece of yes, some type of baby.
Which type would it be? Is that the question?
No. We're not going to talk about that. I was going to say, if you had to deliver some type of like quippy bit of wisdom or something to yourself at the beginning of the year, what would it have been? And I know you might take issue with that as a thought experiment because, it's, weird and wizardy and stuff like that.
I think there's a sense in which time travel is metaphysically possible, sort of.
Okay.
I don't think it's really time travel, but
okay, fair enough.
Like, suppose you had a button,
like a push
button.
Okay.
That when you pushed it, it would then rearrange all of the particles in the universe to be just as they were, at whatever time you're time traveling to. Yeah. I think that's the closest you can get. And the reason I think that's the closest you can get to time travel, rearranging everything now so that it's in the same state that it was, is that I look at time from the growing block theory. So I think time is gauged by the amount of things that happened, the number of facts that there are. Because every time something new happens, that's a new fact, because that thing happened is a fact. Right now I have not moved my hand over there yet.
Yep.
Now, at that time, I have moved my hand over there.
Right.
And so,
but that also works down as well into like the infinitesimal details or whatever of like,
right.
Like, for example, my heart, beat at a very, very specific point, and that detailed the time that it happened. Like, how small can the events be?
Infinitely small, but it's like the number of events themselves. Like, each time your heart beats, your heart has beat one more time than it had the moment before, and so that's what grounds the passage of time. And so the reason that I don't think you can go back in time is, if you go back in time, that is a thing that has happened. That's one more fact.
You're like erasing the truth.
No, I mean, so like literally, like if there are 1 million facts right now, and time is gauged by the number of things that have happened, the number of facts that there are. If I go back in time, that's a thing that happened. That's a thing that I did. And that means one more thing has happened. That means there are now 1,000,001 facts, because facts don't go away once they've happened. Every time a thing happens, that logs a new fact behind. And so you can't go to the past. You can only go to a future that looks like the past, because more things will have happened. There are more facts now than there were then. So, even if I go back.
So if I was going to summarize that, would you agree with me saying that time is defined by the frontier of truth?
I love the way it sounds.
Because as you're building out as you say, facts, can you conflate facts with truth?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So as more truth becomes available, that is what defines the progression of time. Maybe.
And there's a fun implication there too, because God exists outside of time and is truth. Right? So you have absolute truth, and that's like shatters the framework.
Right. So you'd say
time.
that so if you have like a definition tree or something, like, or a contingency tree, you'd say you have truth, and time is contingent on truth, which is God, which means God is still at, like, if you're talking about like a causal argument, it actually functions really well in there.
This is fascinating to me. It's not what I meant, but it's very, very interesting. But I think of it more in terms of like the amount of things that have happened, than I do in terms of like the amount of truth that there is. If nothing else, because you could reasonably posit that the truth exists preceding the thing happening in the physical realm, because God knows everything. Whatever. So like, it's true that he will do that. It's either, I don't like it. Because it's like, I have not yet moved my hand here. Haven't done it. No, I did, but I haven't done it twice. And so then but there is still a truth value regarding that situation, even though it's in the future,
on your free will.
It's either true that I will do that, or I won't, or it's false that I will do that. There's still a truth value. The amount of truth stays the same. It's just the amount of events that have elapsed.
Gotcha. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. That I would love to play around with that, like, structurally.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
to get back on topic, if you could time travel, like you said, and just like it's almost if you could just whisper a message to yourself at the beginning of the year, that you would know, like, that your previous self would know that it's you in the future. Like, what would that, like a tidbit of like, what would, I mean, not like, obviously the obvious ones would be like
lottery numbers.
Yeah, like lottery numbers, or like invest in this,
Right.
But
does that count as insider trading?
Time traveling to tell your previous self?
Yes.
I don't know if it would, because insider trading, I think, is...
Yeah, not insider trading, but is it illegal? fraud to invest in something off a
I mean,
tip that you
time
have
traveling
from the
would
future.
feel like playing God, so I feel like the legality of it kind of becomes secondary.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so do you have one like chambered? Because I don't.
oh man,
I'm not sure there is one.
it's gonna sound so weird because I'm not Christian.
Okay.
But like I genuinely would probably say have faith that things will work out.
Were you worried that they wouldn't?
I feel like I do worry that certain things aren't going to function as I hope, which is obviously fair, and there are certain things that won't function as I hope they will. But like grand things, right? Like long-term goals
Right.
that I'm worried about won't ever come to fruition. I would probably tell myself to just like kind of like almost trust the process. Like if you keep these as goals and you make valid efforts towards those goals, like things will work out.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would tell myself.
Yeah, there's a great Christian comfort in that too, because like oftentimes the things that we want, the things that we hope for, are not the things that will be best for us long term. And so there's a great comfort in knowing that, like, okay, so I really hope that this happens, but if it doesn't, then it wasn't supposed to, and it would have been worse for me than whatever will happen. And that's like just beyond peaceful. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with it. Praise
Nice.
God. Sorry.
That laugh was wild. Sound like Woody Woodpecker. Anyway, yeah. So,
I'm really not sure. I mean, like there are like surface things. Like I forgot to.
Oh, unfortunate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are things like that, but that's not really what's being asked.
I would say it'd be more like an advice.
Yeah.
Style
Right. And
thing,
so like the only thing
that feels too close to the lottery numbers.
Yeah. I feel like really I'm pretty happy with everything and how everything has gone, and I don't know that I would change any of the experiences if given the like I wouldn't tell myself like don't do this or do this or whatever.
Like I feel like you would maybe say that phrase that you just said earlier.
Right.
Yeah, like is it Hebrew? Is it Hebrew?
Latin.
Yeah. Anyway, like that phrase, for example, just to like, I feel like that would be kind of perfect for that, would it not?
I suppose.
That's more like an address thing.
I feel like
you'd
I had
address that at the end of like a letter you'd be writing to your
I do.
priest.
I sign that to your priest. I sign that at the end of all my articles. Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, signed it at the bottom of all of his scores. He was Lutheran. Anyway,
what is it? Mass in B minor or something like that. I think he did that, right? Anyway, I'll look that up after. I don't remember. I don't know much about Bach, admittedly, but yeah.
The only thing I think that maybe I would change is I could have been more diligent about stuff. Like I think I could have written more or made more music or whatever, and I don't think that would have like changed any of the formative experiences that I had that were necessary and whatever. So I guess lock in is like the only thing that I could really throw myself. Yeah.
I would also agree. I would probably tell myself that as well. If I had two things that I would tell myself. Yeah. But again, I understand that I need to lock in even now. Yeah. And I'm not going to wait till New Year's to do so. Right. I'm making decisions right now to do changes.
That's what's up.
And you should too.
It is New Year's.
In the next 6 hours, I will lock in.
That's what's up. Yeah. And you should too. So, so we've covered Christmas and New Year's, and we briefly touched on the very contentious terrain that is Thanksgiving. I feel like
we treaded very lightly on that. Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, what I was thinking is maybe we tell the listeners just a bit of advice for them and what we've learned.
That's what we've been doing this whole time.
I feel like it has been, but like, is there anything additional that you'd want people to know? Just like going into this new year.
Man, you're like really putting our platform to use here. You're stress testing.
No, but I'm just just as like an end of, because it is the end of the end of the
'Cause it
year
is.
we start the new year in 6 hours from now, our time at least. So
Man.
it feels like a moment where we just have to say, like, recommendations or something that we have for people, or just like even if it's a very simple thing.
So a big thing, one of my biggest values and points of priority, and one of the huge things that I learned as I was coming into faith, and something that I've seen be undervalued or be a problem for people very commonly in my conversations, even with people who are like, maybe not devoutly in a structural sense, but in an impassioned sense, devoutly of faith and whatever, is like, especially, and I don't know exactly how you would argue this from a secular standpoint. I think you probably can. I don't know. But especially from a religious standpoint, I'll look at the people. Marriage is our first calling as a union, as agents in a world where there are two sexes. The very, very first thing that's done when woman is made and woman is taken out of man, so we're already two portions of the same whole, which is reflective of the divine essence, and we talked a bit about that on the last episode and whatever. But the very first thing that's done when woman is made is that they're joined together. Adam has not finished his work. He has not established himself absolutely. He's not built some perfect foundation. He's building. He's doing the work that's prescribed to him. It's not good that he's alone. So nerds to the whole, you have to build yourself up entirely and have everything figured out before you should have a person. No. Adam was still doing the work. Adam was still building. It was not good that he was alone. God gave him a woman. And the very first thing that's done is they're married. Marriage is our first calling. Marriage is one of our deepest callings. Also, right? It's the only commandment of the 10 commandments. Sorry, it's the only thing that gives us a case exception. It's the only thing for which a case exception is made to one of the 10 commandments, because the first of the commandments with a promise, the first of the horizontal commandments, is honor thy father and thy mother. And it says in Genesis, when it's talking about the institution of marriage, for this cause you will leave your father and your mother, that you may be joined together as one, or whatever. I don't have the exact wording. It's the only thing that's so important, A, that it gets mentioned at the beginning, and B, that there's a case exception made to one of the 10 commandments for it. Marriage is our first calling. Marriage is one of our deepest callings. Do not fall into this modern trap of focusing on professional prosperity or self-love and care and self-work, or of the building of the season of singleness, of focusing on ministry. None of that. A good woman is described as a helpmeet. A good woman will help you build. A good woman will help you work. This is a constructive union, and it's not something that should be put off. There are all sorts of, here's how you argue it secularly, is that there are all sorts of practical worldly reasons to do it sooner than later also. Fertility, the window of maximal fertility goes away, fades very quickly. Divorce rates in people who are married young to people who are married old are much lower. Divorce rates of people who have slept with other people to people who haven't slept with people outside of their marriage are way lower. I'm not sure if I said that in the right order, but you know what I mean. And the sooner you do that, the sooner you can start having children, and the sooner you can start having children, the more children you can have. And children are not a burden. Children are a blessing from the Lord. Children are like arrows in the hands of a warrior. Blessed is he who has many in his quiver. All of this is scripture. The like capping at 2 or 3 kids or whatever is a very modern concept, and it isn't a helpful one. The waiting until you've already got everything squared away and just in place in order to start having kids is a very modern and very destructive concept. The waiting to get married until you think you're completely done with yourself and you've worked out everything that you have to work out in you is a modern and dangerous concept, and B, doesn't even make sense because we're definitionally imperfect. You are never going to have worked through all the things to work through in yourself. It's not going to happen. You're simply not. And given that you are a segmented part of one whole, you're going to be more able to work on yourself and build and do all these things if you have a good, faithful partner alongside you. Also, you can. Well, I'll leave it at that. But yeah. So that's my big thing in terms of advice. Just because it's something that I really had to come around on as I came into faith, and as I saw what the scripture said and what it necessitated me to believe in, whatever. And it's something that I see. It's something that I see undervalued. There's an epidemic of this modernist view of these things that I see even in Christian circles, and I don't like to see it for those people because I care about some of these people and whatever, and I don't want them to fall into this trap. It's good to have children. It is good to be married. It is good to be married and have children young. This whole waiting and building first thing is modern and not scriptural. Do not fall for the season of singleness trap. It's like, and I'm not saying this as in like, go settle, go find someone immediately and run into their arms because you have to be in a relationship at all times. Like, no, don't take someone who isn't a good and faithful partner, and who won't like be a good fit for you, but don't like not be at least open to that, let alone preparing for that at a minimum, and maybe searching for that with some degree of priority, though maybe not. Well, and that depends. Yeah, okay. There are finer points and more contentious things and whatever, the more I get into the minutiae of this point. But so I'll leave it at that. It's good to be married and have children, and it's good to do them young. You don't need a season of singleness to work on yourself. You can do that in the context of a relationship, as long as your base and your framing are good. If you're framed around Christ and around the Word, then that's my little mini rant.
Fair enough. I mean, obviously, I have a different view on certain things that you mentioned. Yes, but I mean, yeah, if you are, a Christian and you want to become a better Christian, then I find that to be perfectly valid advice. And then you'd say even beyond Christians, you'd probably want to do that. But again,
sure. I mean, I'm an absolutist, and I recognize not everyone agrees with me. I think they should, but they're not gonna. Yeah. So
again, if you seem amicable to that idea, then there you go. And in terms of what I would say, what would I say? Practice being reasonable is what I would say.
That's good. Yes.
Meaning, like, one of my least favorite things that's happening right now to a lot of people is it's basically like recency bias, or what is it called? There's a specific name for that bias. But anyway, like the first thing you hear is the first thing you believe, and I just want people to question what they hear. That's number one, because you should be questioning things. You should be, like you said, searching for the truth, whatever that may be for you. You should be searching for that. So please question everything you see and hear. Really spend some time and think about it, even if it seems like it's not a big deal, seriously put some time and effort into thinking about that stuff, because it really, you never know, you might uncover something even more important from something that you didn't think would be important in the first place. So that's number one. Avoid reactionary thinking is what I would say. And then the second part, which again, this is all kind of under the umbrella of reasonableness, is just like anytime you're making a decision, think about the broader implications of your decision, which is essentially just a statement on responsibility. Really put the time and effort down. Think about what decision you're about to make, whether on impulse, which is the worst types of ones, or whether it's out of some type of desire that may not be good for you in the long term. Really put the time down and the effort into thinking about how that will affect you in the future and whether it'll be beneficial for you. And then another part of the reasonableness is to also have, how do I word this? Is to have some degree of tolerance for other people's opinions. This is another one I bet you very much so agree with, but yeah. Be willing to hear people out, even if what they say sounds insane, which I have talked to people who are, I would consider almost borderline insane when it comes to their takes on certain things. But again,
it's hilarious because I know what you're thinking.
Yes, but yeah, so I would say tolerance is one of my fundamental things I try and stick to, is like, have a constructive conversation. If you believe you are the correct person in a certain argument, discuss that with them. Try and convince them of that, but don't ever get like accusatory or, aggressive about it unless there's like serious implications. But again, that's not going to matter to like 99.9% of people. Just be tolerant to opposing viewpoints and try and slowly guide them to better viewpoints is what I would say, or present them with things that they may not have seen or heard before that might convince them otherwise to their differing preconception of a certain topic. So that's what I would say is generally practice being a reasonable human being. It will get you far. Trust me.
That's good. That's solid.
Yeah.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of made me think of another thing that's more general too, which is that problems don't get solved without talking, like social problems, interpersonal problems don't get solved without talking to them. If you have a problem, I said talking to them, talking about them. If you have a problem, talk about it. If you're worried about something with someone, talk about it, bring it up.
Yeah. The worst thing you can do is stay quiet on stuff that's like really causing problems for you.
Yeah.
Which I would make an argument for like the things like therapy where you need to talk. You just need to get that stuff out. But obviously I know how you
it's
feel
good
about
to
that.
vent. I mean specifically to talk to the person that it's regarding. Like,
oh, of course. I feel like you have a responsibility to do that.
And there are obviously case exceptions to this. Don't like go do something irresponsible and then blame this statement for it or whatever. Use better judgment.
Be reasonable.
Right. But broadly speaking, it's like, if something is not working for you and you're unhappy in an interpersonal sense, that is going to be the case in both directions because these things are reciprocal. If something's not working for you, it's not working for the other person too. Mm-hmm. And the only way that changes is if you talk about it, if you bring it up, if you do something about that. You solve problems together better than you do alone. Two are better than one. Because if you're alone, then you fall. But if you're together, then you can help each other back up. There's a scripture that says something like that.
I thought you were doing like the something better than none. There's like a saying that's...
I don't know this.
I don't remember exactly what it is.
Anyway, so yeah, talk about stuff.
Yeah. Speak to people. Text your parents. Call
social.
Your parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's all I'd really want to leave people with for the most part. I feel like it's pretty broad on both of our aspects. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, all we can say is thank you to everyone who listened this year. Happy holidays. Even though it'll probably be after the holidays when this comes out. But regardless, remember, the timing of these certain things, like New Year's, shouldn't matter in what you're trying to achieve. Even if this does come out after New Year's, set a goal for yourself.
Live every day like Christmas.
And I think that's a good note to end on. So again,
yeah, I hope you enjoyed our Christmas special.
Yeah. It was pretty
really
good, actually.
It worked out to be a much, much better conversation than I was expecting it to be. This was,
Well, so yeah, thank you.
Yep. And obviously take our advice and information and opinions with a grain of salt. Again, we are not authorities on any of this whatsoever.
I think we're better than the average, but we're not.
I mean,
experts.
Me too, but not like we don't have a piece of paper that says so or anything.
Yes, of course.
Which people seem to care about these days.
Yeah. So if this advice seems helpful or you think it would be helpful for you, feel free. Try it out. See what works.
And if you hear something that's like egregiously wrong,
then call us out.
Please tell us.
Yes.
Yeah, because this is how you learn.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yep.
Again.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Merry holidays.